Good afternoon, everyone. It is now 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Franco, and I'm one of the National Recruitment Officers here at Ryerson University, and I'm pleased to be your host for today's session on our computer science program as part of Ryerson's November Virtual Open House. This open house event is going to be taking place across 2 weeks, so today is our very first day, and we're happy that you're joining us here. Across these 2 weeks, each and every one of our undergraduate program sessions will be represented. So please visit our website and register for any other sessions that you might be interested in. Now, to begin, I do want to acknowledge the land that Ryerson's campus stands on today, the place where we work and learn. Ryerson and Toronto are in the Dish with One Spoon territory. The Dish with One Spoon is a treaty between the Anishinaabe, Mississaugas, and Haudenosaunee that bound them to share the territory and protect the land. Subsequent Indigenous nations and peoples, Europeans, and all newcomers have been invited into this treaty in the spirit of peace, friendship, and respect. Here at Ryerson University, equity, diversity, and inclusion is something that is very important to us, and we will continue to work and move forward on the path toward reconciliation. Now, a quick update on campus operations. Ryerson has shifted to an essential services model to help prevent the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. We have put together a series of these virtual sessions in order to share information and connect with you as the applicant. Ryerson is working diligently to provide students with fulsome experiences while maintaining the health and safety of our community. Now, just in case this is your first time using Zoom, a couple housekeeping tips I'd like to share with you to help you get the most out of today's session. We do encourage you to ask questions. I have an entire team behind me just waiting to answer any questions that you have for today's session. To do so, click on the Q&A pod at the bottom of the Zoom window, and that should open up a new window, a dialog box, and this is where you can ask us your questions. If you are experiencing any audio or video issues, for example, maybe you can't hear me very well right now, please also feel free to flag it in our Q&A pod, and one of our staff members will be able to assist you with troubleshooting. Of course, you may also rearrange the screen however you see fit. So if you want to see our speaker screen a little bigger as opposed to the presentation screen, you may do so. What you do on your screen will not affect the viewing experience of others. And also a final note, this presentation, we have enabled closed captioning for accessibility. So if you do require closed captioning, please select the option at the bottom of your Zoom window. And also note, all the recordings of our virtual open house sessions will be available on our website in just a few weeks. Now, before we go, I introduce today's speaker, I do want to get to know a little bit about who is joining us today. So if you can let us know, answering the question, are you a prospective student looking to join us next year? Maybe you're looking to apply in the future later on, or maybe you're looking to transfer to us from another university or college. Let us know in the chat, or sorry, in the polls. Gonna give another 10 seconds or so for more responses come through. Okay. So I do see a majority of you are all looking to apply really, really soon. So which is great because it's great that you're already here to get the information that can help you make an informed decision about your post-secondary studies. So let's get into today's session. I'd like to introduce to you Dr. Abari from our computer science program, and he will be your host, be your presenter for the rest of this session. Dr. Abari, over to you.
Thank you very much, Franco. And I wanted to say welcome to everybody. And I'm going to introduce to share some of the slides with you and introduce computer science. So if I wanted to tell you where we are exactly, the computer science department is part of Faculty of Science. As you see here, I don't know if you see my cursor, we have something that we call science at Ryerson University. And in Faculty of Science, we have biology department, medical physics, financial maths, and chemistry, biology. Computer science is here. Okay, so for example, if you take a look in general, and if you wanted to know, for example, what are the different faculties in Ryerson University, Faculty of Engineering, for example, is the one which has computer engineering as a part of electrical engineering. Faculty of Science is the one which has computer science. So we are computer science. Now, to give you more information about our program, I wanted to start with some of the support that we can provide. Of course, many of these supports are provided by the Ryerson University, but the one that our department, and it may be, of interest of some of you, can provide is coding camp. So basically, because computer science is more related to the programming, we have the camp that help people to do coding and all of these things. And of course, there are other supports to help your studies, such as math supports, writing center, test center, career center. So they are all different type of supports that you will be provided when you enter Ryerson University. Now, there is a philosophy behind our computer science program. And basically, there are three words, Greek words. And these three words are episteme, techne, and phronesis. So it means understanding or science, plus doing and acting provide practical judgments. So that is the philosophy of our computer science program. And in general, if you take a look at computer science program, it contains co-op program, part-time program. Also, we have a new concentration in software engineering, and we have our graduate program, which is related to the MSc, Masters, and PhD students. Now, as you know, there is entrance requirements. There are some courses, English, advanced functions, one of the physics, chemistry, or biology, one of the calculus, vectors, mathematics, of data management. They are the entrance requirements. And we are looking at 80% of cumulative GPA and more. But of course, it is determined whenever there is a competition, and they are what our admission office, they are looking at this data. So if you have questions related to entrance requirements, my colleagues who are here, and they will introduce themselves after I give you this introduction. They can help you to get more information about entrance requirements. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about the program. So the computer science program, similar to other programs, contains theory and practice. Theory is more like again, the theory of programming. Let me tell you something from the beginning. Programming is very similar to mathematics. So basically, you see, if somebody asks, what is the programming? Programming means logic, and it's very close to the mathematics. But especially, it is a special mathematics. It is not, of course, I know that you had calculus. Calculus is also, important part of mathematics. But what type of mathematics we have here in computer science, we call it discrete mathematics, and it is more like a logic. So there are some theory that our student will learn this theory, especially discrete mathematics, in first and second year. Then there are some practice, and practice are the courses like, for example, Python, Java, whatever you need to be able to do the program. So I'm going to discuss about them in more details. So basically, for the first and second year, the students, they learn the fundamentals of computer science. And basically they build the foundation for programming based on theory and practical knowledge that they gain from these courses. But in the third and fourth year, they will get the concentration. I explain about it later. And basically they specialize on the sub-discipline of computer science. Again, if you have a question about them, we will be happy to answer your questions. But for now, I introduce our program. I try to not go into the details, but for sure, we will be happy to answer any of these parts that you want us to elaborate more. So whenever you enter computer science, at the beginning, you have 5 courses. They are basic computer science and programming courses. These 5 courses I'm going to show you. Usually we have these 5 courses in the first year, some of them in the second year. You have 2 fundamental mathematics courses, and you have 1 course in basic science and 2 courses in humanities. So, for example, first of all, these courses, we divide them, core courses and professional or open elective courses. The core courses, which we have mostly for the first year and second year, the example of these courses are data structure and algorithm, comparative programming languages, discrete mathematics, introduction to software engineering, introduction to operating system, database system, artificial intelligence, computer security, computer networks, and so on. Professionally and open elective courses are the courses that you will take in third and fourth year, and basically you specialize on some kind of sub-discipline or something in computer science based on your interests. And the example of these courses are bioinformatics, computer graphic, advanced algorithm, software verification, telecommunication network, analysis of algorithm, introduction to computer vision, human-computer interaction, data mining, compilers, entrepreneurships in creative industries. So basically, that is the whole 40 plus courses that I discussed to you. But when you take a look at these charts, there are 2 things that I wanted to show you. First of all, these core courses that I discussed, which are like important courses in computer science, they are shown by light blue. And for example, computer science 1, Python language is one of them that you see here. The interesting thing is these arrows. These arrows are prerequisite. So basically, it means, I tried to show it with this CPS 109, which is the computer science 1. It means if you take this course and you pass this course successfully, then you can take other course. For example, then after that, you can go in the second semester for CPS 209, which is Java language, more advanced programming techniques. And for the second year, you can go to CPS 393, which is C and Unix. Okay, again, after my presentation, if you have any questions, I will return back to these slides and talk more about them. Just right now, I wanted to give you general overview of our program. Also, we have concentration in software engineering. Remember what I told you about these open elective and professionally related courses. These, for example, 8 courses, between 6 to 8 courses, are the courses that you can select from professionally related tables. And basically with these courses, you can get concentration in software engineering. So I don't read this course, but basically, for example, database systems, software engineering 1 and 2, the courses related to software engineering concentration. Now, here is information about a scholarship, tuition, fee, and housing. Again, if you have questions, my colleagues, they are more knowledgeable than me to answer your question. But in general, I want you to know, for example, if somebody coming with 95% admission average, 16,000 for 4 years are their scholarships, which are renewable, and tuition fees for domestic students is in range of 9,500 to 8,855. For international students, it is 23,664. And for housing, we have 4 residence buildings in campus, and there is an application that you have to fill this application, which will be open January 7, 2021, and deadline is June 1st, 2021. So they are general information. Now, I told you our program is 4 years program, and the chart that I showed you about the courses, it was clear. It was for each year what courses a student should take. We have also co-op program. Co-op means you go to a company, okay, exactly very similar to somebody who is working in the company. There is a interview process, and then you go to the company, and around 1 year you work in that company. That's very good because first of all you get the job experience. In many cases our students, when they go to the companies, they get hired by the same company. So it is very advantage of our computer science program. We have a very strong co-op program, and so it is basically paid employment. We have a Ryerson co-op office, and I think they do a great job. They do everything from the beginning to make sure to help the students when they wanted to apply to different companies. How you tell you wanted to go for the co-op option? At the beginning of the second year, you have to apply, and your GPA should be at least 2.8. And we have, I can tell, at least half of our students, or very close to that number, we are in the co-op program. And again, you know that the computer science and software engineering, they have a very good job market. So you can expect many companies, they are interested to have the students, and the getting the co-op job, or as far as I saw during these years, it was very easy for our students. Now, how does it work? Usually there is a job posting. Students apply to different companies. They send applications. There will be interview and there will be selection. Exactly same thing as if somebody wanted to go for a job market, the same process, exactly. People who are interested in the co-op program, they are going and through all of this process. When somebody goes to co-op, there are 2 sequences. And remember, I told you, instead of 4 years program, it will be 5-year program. And it starts from the second year. And basically, for example, in this chart that I showed to you as sequence 1, during the spring semester of the second year, the first work term of the co-op, if somebody wanted to go to co-op, will start. And then during the fall semester of third year, can go to the company, do the co-op. There is a gap and so on. Of course, before going to the company, there is a preparation for the first co-op work term. So that is one sequence. Second sequence, when you see it is different because starting from the spring semester of the third year, there are 4 consecutive semesters for the work term. So based on your company, based on your schedule, you can select any of these 2 sequences to do the co-op. So that is about the how you can apply for the co-op. Sample of employers and positions, for example, IBM, Environment Canada, Telecom. In Ryerson, we have DMZ that I explain more to you later. Financial, RBC Financial, Pearson Airport, they are the employers that of our students. Desire to learn, insurance, banking, and international companies. And type of the job titles are developers, test analyst, network administrator, web developer, service, help desk analyst, database developer, research assistant, programmer analyst, etc. So basically, as you see, they are the variety of the job titles. And that is one of the advantage of computer science. Basically, whoever comes to computer science, they can mix this techniques of the programming or whatever they learn throughout our program with any interest that they have. For example, if they are interested in the financial, if they are interested in the web development, and they can go to different fields. One thing that I have to mention here is minors. And another very advantage of the Ryerson University is there are lots of minors. For example, somebody can study computer science, minor in different fields based on their interest. And as I said, job market for computer science graduates always, it was very good, especially they are looking in many fields, they are looking for the people with the background in computer science, and minors are very good option to create such a background based on your interests, and you go to whatever field you are interested to continue on. Now, after that, what we have here is, so I talk about sample of the employer and positions. So remember, I told you in Ryerson, we have a something that we call discovery zone. And basically it is another advantage of Ryerson University in general and our computer science program, that whoever has any idea, for example, suppose if you have idea of creating a startup company, or for example, any type of the, for example, something related to the industry, there is science discovery zone that they help students to see how their idea is working. And we have very good examples of the people that through the DMZ, they start their ideas, and they created a very successful companies. Of course, at the beginning, it was a startup companies, but later on, they expand the companies. And we have always, that's a very important advantage of Ryerson University, very strong in that area. So that is something that if you wanted to have more questions, we will be answer to your questions. Another thing is international exchange opportunities. So as a part of the Global Science Citizen Program, we exchange students with other universities. For example, University College London School of Pharmacy, Wageningen University in Netherlands. They are the examples of the international university that we are working with, and we exchange students. There is one more, especially for computer science students. There is a University of Surrey in Guildford, United Kingdom, which is a top European institution with a specialized center of cybersecurity. So that is another university that we have students there. So it is about international exchange opportunities. I hope I was able to get you some idea about, the general idea about what you should expect when you come to our program. Thank you very much. If there is any question, we will be happy to answer your question. I think Franco will come and my colleagues, they introduce themselves and then we can go on. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Abari, for that presentation. So we're still going to be here until the top of the hour to help you answer any questions that you may have. So we're going to turn off our video and audio, so you won't be able to hear or see us, but we're still going to be here. So please feel free to continue submitting your questions in the Q&A pod. Now, I also encourage you to make note of any answers to your questions that you may have received from one of our colleagues here, because once we close the session, that answer is going to disappear. So if you do get an answer, make sure that you save that somewhere. So on behalf of Ryerson University, thank you once again for joining us today, and we hope to see you in other sessions later this week. Bye now.
I think I can answer some of the questions, and I wanted to encourage my colleagues to, if you see any question and you wanted to do the live answer, please go ahead and answer them. So let me see. Let me see if I'm more interested to answer your question about the courses, about what is the difference between different programs. And let me see what are the questions about these fields. If we would like to submit, what is the acceptance rate for this program? Actually, we have a very large number of students each year, between 200 to 300. As I told you, it is depending on the GPA of the students, and we have a large number of students. The size of our classes, sometimes even it is larger than that. And the reason is because we have many students from other programs, and they wanted to do minor in computer science. For example, suppose the CPS 109, the one that I told you is about Python language. Even we have the class of CPS 109 with 500 students. And the reason is because some of them, they are other students who are interested to do minor in computer science. So the other question that I can see here, yeah, the one question is regarding to the semester. As I told you, there are the fall semester, winter semester, and summer. So we have all of these semesters. I know my colleagues, they do they send you the answers. So I try to find the general questions which is applicable to all of you. What is the posted? What is the requirement for part-time? Yes, part-time computer science. I can tell you it's very interesting in computer science department. And the reason is, for example, suppose if there are students who are working, they have a full-time job, or for some reason, they wanted to return back and they wanted to continue. For example, in many cases, whenever somebody is working in the computer industry and you see, but for some reason, they are very good, they have lots of experience, but they don't have degree. So they wanted to get the bachelor degree. Our part-time program is very good for these people. So basically, they can have the courses, from 6 p.m. so they can continue their work, and at the same time they can continue a study. But the interesting thing is they study exactly same as our full-time program, or what we call them daytime students. So all of the courses, they are same. Of course, it is through the Chang School, which is continuing education in Ryerson, at Ryerson University, but it is very interesting program. And uh, so the another advantage of doing part-time in computer science is after 2 years, if they are interested, they can switch to the full-time program. Even if they don't switch to the full-time program, many of these professionally related courses that I showed to you and I discussed with you, they are available for part-time students. I saw uh, some of our part-time students, and they are working for very important companies, and they are doing very well. And sometimes when they come to the classes, and because computer science is very, as I told you, in the same time it's very practical, and they say most of the time, oh, that is what we were thinking, even for example for their job. So part-time program, I can tell you, is very for the people who wanted to continue their job, is a very good opportunity. So uh, another question, so it is about part-time question. I explain what type of groups are available in relation to computer science fields. As I told you, when actually about coding camp, I explained to you, but I forgot to tell you, we have a very important group in our student body called Course Union, and they help a lot. So whenever the student come to computer science program, the Course Union, they have a very interesting uh, organizations. They have an election, and they are very active. So basically, they providing lots of support, lots of help, and they give usually lots of informations. Uh, oh, another very common question is, what is the difference between computer engineering and computer uh, science? And that is the question that always we receive this question. So let me tell you, that of course I can talk about it for a while, but I can give you just simple explanation about the difference. Computer engineering is more about building the computer. Okay, for example, when we wanted to know what type of microprocessor is, for example, is working for this computer, or some like a CPU question related to the hardware. Usually computer engineering, they are thinking about this part. Okay, but whenever you are talking about computer science, it is more programming. Now, there is one confusing part here, and this part is software engineering. I will explain about software engineering later, but because many people, they ask this question because of the job market. The question, after knowing that, okay, computer engineering is related to hardware and computer science is related to the software and programming. Now the question is, okay, what is the job difference between job market? So you can see, for definitely for computer science, there are the lots of job markets available everywhere. For example, suppose the companies that are building computers, usually they are in California, for example, Intel or other big companies. However, for example, if somebody wanted to do work related to computer science, which is not only coding, by the way. That's another parenthesis that I wanted to open here. The jobs are available everywhere. You can start from your location, start the job search, and there is a very good possibility that you get whatever you wanted to work in computer science. Now, another question: what is the difference between computer science and software engineering? That is the second question that I usually receive after that question: what's the difference between computer science and computer engineering? To answer this question, I can tell you software engineering, it is for sure about software, but still it is engineering. So it means the people who are doing software engineering, they should be able to communicate with other engineers. So they should know the engineering communications. Computer science is the wider area, including coding and many other things that is not only coding. For example, suppose if somebody graduates with computer science degree, they may end it up in some type of jobs like a business analyst. And usually they don't do the coding or information systems or management information systems. So they don't do coding themselves directly. However, what they do, they use the other people's other contractors to assign the codings to them, and then they use these programs for different reason, for example, which depending on their work they wanted to use, for example, different programs for that part, and they have to make a decision. So that is another thing that I need to tell about the jobs in computer science and computer engineering and software engineering. Again, there are many things that I can discuss about the jobs, because I think I saw one more question, and I try to find that question. But in general, as I told you, there are many jobs in computer science. If of course you wanted to do the coding, there are lots of jobs on coding, but there are many jobs that they are using the coding, and they use it for the other purposes. Franco, I will be helpful if there is any other
Yeah.
question that you think I should answer, or I see my other colleagues, they have
Yeah,
answered to
there's a lot of
75
questions,
answer. Yeah, so go
which is great. It's great to see
yeah.
questions coming through. I thought I'd pop on just to help you facilitate some questions. Maybe some other guests might also be interested in learning more about. We did receive a question about the co-op work terms. So are you able to talk a little bit more about kind of how the co-op work terms work? This student is wondering if there are less courses during that time, or yeah, kind of what the difference of a co-op work
Yeah,
term looks
sure.
like.
I can give some information, but I like our other colleagues also introduce themselves and they answer some question live. But in general, you see, whenever we are talking about co-op, a student basically the co-op work term, it means they go to a company. Of course, they receive a mark, but how does it work? For example, after one semester or 2 semesters, the supervisor, they write a report about their performance and what they have done. And then we have a professor in our department, and basically they are co-op advisor. They are reading all of these reports, and they provide even a grade, and they are in contact with the students during the time that they are doing co-ops. One thing that I forgot to mention, the professors of our departments. You can go to the website and you can read about them, and you can see they they did lots of uh, work in different areas in computer science, and each of them, they can be a very good source for your questions. And if you go to our websites, plus the co-op advisor, program director, undergraduate program director, chair of the department, when you look at the webpage of the professors of computer science, you can see they have different expertise. For example, security, cybersecurity, uh, computer organizations, programming language, and really, I'm pretty sure even if you send them question directly, they can answer your question. Plus, in our website, we have a dedicated email called askme@ryerson.ca. If you have any general question, when you send it through that our own website, we can answer your questions. And it may even go to these professors that I told you they are expert in each of these area, and they can answer your question. So hopefully I provided answer, but if any of our colleagues, Salva, Jake, and Kelly, if you wanted to join and provide, more complete answer, please come and help in answering the questions live.
Yeah, actually, I can add one other thing. So with that student who asked that question, I will be sharing a link with you just to kind of give you an idea of how the co-op work terms are set up in the computer science program. Most of the time, students are working full-time. So you're not balancing like 2 days at school and 3 days at work. You are typically working full-time in these positions. So I will share with you that link so you can get an idea of how those work terms are structured within the 5-year program, because with co-op, then your program will extend to 5 years. The next question, we actually got this question twice. Are you able to, Dr. Bar, if you can talk a little bit about the difference between computer science and software engineering?
Yes.
Because we got some questions about computer science versus computer engineering. What about computer science versus software engineering?
Yes, computer science is more general. You see, as I told you, the start of computer science is coming from mathematics, but special mathematics, more related to the logic, or what we have as one of your course, discrete mathematics. So basically, in computer science, you can go to different direction. For example, in my case, my area is data science, okay? And I'm teaching database, data science, but my area is data science. But my background is computer science. Now, if somebody, for example, wants to go to software engineering, as I told you, first of all, it is more software. It is more related to the software and programming, but the engineering part of that means they are part of the groups, because don't forget, in computer science or in computer industry, all of the works, most of the works, they are group based. You see, you have to be part of the group. Computer engineering, they usually they are in the group of other engineers, okay? And for example, suppose they are building the computer, and for part of that operating systems, they wanted to create a special device, and they wanted to create some program. That is the place that software engineers, they collaborate, and they, for example, communicate with the computer engineers, and they provide such a programs. So that is the one thing that I can say, the difference between software engineering and computer science is much wider area, and software engineering is a concentration, exactly like what you see in our program. We have a 4-year program called computer science. For the first year and second year, all the students, they learn same type of the courses. But for the third year and fourth year, the students who wanted to select concentration, then they go to the software engineering concentration. So I hope I was able to give the explanation about how they are different.
Yeah, that sounds great. So actually, moving on to another question that we also received. So here in Canada and Ontario, we're very lucky. We have a lot of great university options available for our high school students. One of the questions that came through is, what kind of distinguishes Ryerson's computer science program as opposed to other programs across Ontario, across Canada, and across the world?
Yes, so I answer as far as no other universities. One thing that is unique in computer science in terms of program is our part-time program. Okay, remember what I told you. There is an opportunity that students, they come to computer science program, but if they have a full-time job or for some reason they wanted to do the full-time job, they can learn exactly same thing as our full-time program, but as part-time basis. So that is about the program. But in general, uh, what I heard from industry, our computer science students, when they are graduated, they are very technical. They have hands-on experience. So basically, when you go to the class in our department, for example, I'm teaching a database. The important part of each of these courses, especially, for example, you see it in CPS 109, Python, CPS 209, Java, the special part, the important part of each course is lab and assignments, practical work. And I saw the students, they like this part much more than other part. I saw students from University of Toronto, from Waterloo, and they came to our university, and they told me that is the part that they like. They like the fact that they can, of course, theory is very important. We have also some theory, but historically, Ryerson was very good to provide practical knowledge to the students. And I've heard it from many companies. They said when we hire somebody from Ryerson, they know how to do the job and they are very good in terms of practical knowledge. So another difference that I can tell is the relation between the professors and the students in our department. Most of the time, the professors, they have office hours and they are available to students, but most of the time they do much more communication with the students. So it doesn't look like that you go to the class and you see only professors there. It does not look like that. Your professors will have lots of communication with the students, even during the labs, after hours. And I've heard it from my other students. They said that in Ryerson and especially in computer science, students, professors are more available. And whenever students need to talk to them or ask questions, they are available.
Yeah, just to kind of talk a little bit about that. Like a part of my job is I talk to a lot of high school students and kind of help them make a decision about what institution could be a best fit. I just mentioned it. It's about fit, right? All computer science programs across Canada are fairly competitive when you look on look at it from an international type of standpoint. It all comes down to the approach to learning and also the opportunities afforded to you. If that is something that you would look at, I would say look at the course curriculums, right? Look at the coursework and kind of see which is the best fit for you. And also, of course, the opportunities provided within the program as well. Another question that this is a question that I constantly get from students who are interested in studying computer science is programming experience. What is your recommendation about should they know particular languages? if they should, which languages would you recommend? What if they are really interested in computer science, but they don't have that experience just yet? If you can touch upon that, that'd be great.
Sure. I answered this question first, but I remember something about the previous question that I didn't mention. First of all, about computer programming language experience. When you come to our program, you don't need to have any experience. So basically, our courses, they are designed to start from the scratch. But the first programming course, CPS 109, is about Python. Of course, if you have programming experience, it is much better. But because there are lots of students, as I told you, they are doing minor in computer science or they are interested to take Python, they are in the class with mixed background. Sometimes we have different levels. For example, we have the CPS 109 for advanced, medium, and basic programming experience. So to answer this question, you don't have to have any special programming experience, but of course, if you took anything during your high school, it's much better. Now, another thing that I wanted to mention about when you wanted to select a university, uh, some of the university, they don't have computer science. You have to be very careful about that. For example, if you go to McMaster University, I just mentioned some of the university that I know how the program, the computer science program is working for them. For example, in McMaster, they have computing department. And if somebody, go to McMaster University, it is not exactly computer science. Or University of Waterloo, computer science is part of the mathematics department. And if somebody wanted to continue, for example, again, in McMaster, whatever I told you, this computing department is part of engineering department. In University of Waterloo, this computer science is part of mathematics department. If somebody wanted to go for computer science, they have to enter in mathematics department. So basically, the type of the first year courses, they are different based on the university. Or, for example, we have other universities and they have information systems. You see, there are different things that are different branch of computer science. In Ryerson University, we have computer science from the beginning. So basically, when you come to Ryerson University, you have a direct entry in computer science. Okay, that's one of the important point, that if you wanted to select the universities, you have to keep in mind which one is which field of the computer science or computing or information systems. They are all different things.
Yeah, and I think what it comes back down to, as I mentioned earlier, is again, we have fantastic programs right across Ontario. Each program will have their different approach to it, and it really just comes down to what is the best fit for you. So again, I would recommend checking out all the programs that you're interested in, and also just comparing the course curriculums, and then making an informed decision for yourself. So yeah, all the programs across Ontario are great. And what Dr. Abari said was kind of more about what the Ryerson approach is, and how we approach the subject as well. So we just have a couple more minutes left until the top of the hour. So if you do have any final questions, please let us know in the Q&A. But I'd like to thank Dr. Abari for coming back on to answer some questions from our guests today. I hope that you all were able to again answer to your question. But until the next session, bye for now. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, and also I wanted to thank everybody, and I hope to see you sometime soon in our department. Thank you very much.